What have you seen out of the group this week?
Yeah, practiced well. You know, I think that's why you see, at least it's play hard. They practice hard. Big trick will be, can we finish? Can we finish drives? Can we finish tackles? It's a big key to this.
Any different sense or feel for maybe the stakes getting a little higher as we get closer to the end of the season?
Not necessarily, because I think that they've really poured their heart into every game. I really do. I think they know what's at stake, and it's not really focusing about that. It's not going to make them play harder or execute any better. What's going to make them execute better is they think about their assignment, prepare like they've never prepared before. I think this week was good.
How about in the other direction? Oregon State has, I guess, less tangibly to play for. What are you seeing on film from them?
Yeah, I think they play very hard. I know Gary Anderson and that crew, and you put the tape on, and those guys play hard. That's never really our focus. It always comes back to us. And so we always know the opponent's gonna show up, and they're gonna play very, very hard. No, everybody in this league does that. And, if you don't play your best, you get beat. That's the bottom line. So we got to make sure we're ready to go.
Chris, this point in the season, some teams lose sight of the fact that they play a game for joy. I don't get
Yeah.
the sense from your guys that they're really having fun still. There's a great balance there.
Yeah. I think they've done a nice job because sometimes it's very easy to lose perspective of that joy. We do play because we love the game. And if we don't, we're doing the wrong thing. But when you put so much into it and you don't have the results, it's easy to lose that. And so we do talk about that. I think they've had a really good mindset in terms of still working hard, knowing that we got to get better, and that we get better, that's going to bring us some joy.
You talked on your show this week about the Boise State team that had that confidence feel.
Yeah.
Was there a light bulb moment? Do you get that through a lot of your teams where there's a particular play or a win that kind of sets it in motion?
Sometimes it is, and we've had a couple big wins.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be able to build off that. You can't take steps backwards. And one of the things that I don't know if we've necessarily taken some step backwards. I think we have maybe in the turnover department. But what's different here is the next team that we play, they're right there and they're just as good. And so if you are not progressing, you're going backwards. And I think our team has learned that, and they know that we got to continue to build skill.
It seemed like each week we talked about the year of the running back and the next power back you're going to face. But what about Oregon State? What do you see with their team?
Yeah, they got a good crew. They always have. Storm Woods played for a long time. I think he's finally played since he's a freshman. They got another big back in there, Null, and 16 Shifty. So everybody's got some good backs that bring different dimensions to the game. And that's going to be a big key to our defense, being able to tackle those guys, and they're all very different.
You were able to hit some big shots downfield last week. This is probably an obvious question. How much have you missed John Ross in that department?
Well, yeah. We see John Ross out there every day, kind of doing his thing on the rehab, and he's a special player. And I said way back when, that's a guy that you don't just replace very easily. He's very explosive, and we'll be excited to have him in the fold next year.
Is he on track?
He's doing great.
Yeah.
He's doing really, really good, and barring any further injuries, that type of thing. But I think he's ahead of schedule.
So you kind of almost have to slow him down maybe out there.
He's a hard guy to slow down.
Yeah.
The trainers take that one over. But it is kind of hard sometimes when you see him running out there and you're like, sure he's not ready to go. And he may be ready to go, but this deep into the season.
Anything changed on Elijah Qualls?
Elijah is still making progress. We're hopeful.
With Jake, from the very beginning, one thing you guys have said you really liked is his competitiveness and just his confidence to, make throws in tight windows and those sorts of things. And obviously that can backfire in certain moments, like in the game where he's obviously trying to force things and make things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Is that such a fine line for a young quarterback to kind of learn, the difference there and when to play it safe maybe? And
Yep.
I guess, how do you go about
Yeah.
teaching that at this point too?
I think he's done a really good job of not making just really poor decisions. I thought he had one, and sometimes when you have them, sometimes I think when they come up the most is maybe on scrambles and finding the guy kind of late, a little bit over the middle, and he's made a lot of those throws, and those could come back to get you. you know, because there's such bang bang and it's not it's not a normal read progression. I thought we made one of those last week, but I don't think he's made many of them. Like when you put him on, you know, the decision you might like to have back,